Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to 10WT Friday, where every single week we teach you how to form the healthy habits that will transform your body and transform your life. In order to transform, you have to start with your why, then set your goals, identify the weekly behaviors that will get you to your goals, track the progress of that on a scoreboard, and set micro habits every single week to set yourself up for success. If you do these steps, I promise you, your habits will be rock solid, your self-confidence will grow, and you'll be on the path closer to your best you. Every single week, we help health-conscious people just like yourself optimize their potential, and I'm your host, Nick Carrier, and today we're going to talk about why you do front squats versus back squats. The goal of the Best You podcast is to allow you to feel confident about what you need to do, why you need to do it, and how to do it in order to get closer and closer to your best you. One of the reasons why I want to talk about this topic today is because in the 10-week transformation here in Nashville, most of the time we alternate back and forth from week to week, whether we're doing back squats or front squats. So it's a 10-week transformation, right? And so we meet for group workouts 2 times a week. One's a lower body day, one's an upper body day. And so if we have 10 lower body days, we traditionally have about 5 of those that we're doing back squats during, 5 of those that we're doing front squats during. And so I want to talk to you guys who do the 10WT as to why that is, and then also talk to you guys who don't do the 10WT as to why that's how I program it and why you should be thinking about implementing both front squats and back squats into your regimen as well. And so let's go ahead and start with front squats. Front squats oftentimes I think is the lesser favorite, the lesser preferred of the two for a lot of people, and that's for a couple different reasons. I'm talking about barbell front squats and barbell back squats in particular right now. The barbell front squat sometimes can be a little bit uncomfortable to rack on the front of your shoulders if you are not used to it and you're not quite sure where the appropriate resting point is. And oftentimes people aren't all that intentional about when they get under it, making sure that they're right in the center. Sometimes they're a little off balance, and so the barbell moves side to side, and if you do a cross arm grip, like I'm showing right now on YouTube, rather than a wrist underneath and an elbow underneath grip, it can be a little bit unsturdy, but that's kind of one of the biggest reasons to do front squats is because of the unsturdiness and because of the fact that it's training your core. And so that kind of leads me right into reason number 1 to do front squats is because it is such a core and an ab strengthener. I can't tell you how sore sometimes I've been with my abs on days after that I've done front squats. Because if I go really heavy with barbell front squats, my abs have to work a hell of a lot to keep my back in a neutral spine. And so my abs have gotten so sore sometimes after doing front squats. And so if you don't have your core engaged, your back is going to round and you might collapse a little bit with your upper body. So your core has to be super tight and super engaged when doing front squats, and that's such a core strengthener as well. Sometimes we're not able to do heavy core exercises, but these heavy front squats is a great way to do a heavy core exercise. Second reason why doing front squats is really important is because it targets the front of your legs, and in particular targets the quads, and in particular the vastus medialis, the inner quad muscle on the front of your legs. And quad muscles are some of the muscles that are most responsible for both knee support and for overall athletic performance. That vastus medialis in particular is one of the springiest muscles that you have in your body that really allows you to both run fast, jump fast, and to absorb landing with your muscles as well. And so strengthening that vastus medialis is super, super important. And a lot of times people just want that muscle to look good from a vanity point of view. And just a well-balanced leg. And so if you want to increase your overall squats, then you want all aspects of your leg to be strong. And so it targets the quads a little bit more in particular. And the reason why it targets the quads is, think about it this way. Most of the time when it comes to which muscle you're recruiting for a specific exercise, it's based off of the angle at which force is being produced. So let me break that down. If you're doing a front squat, the barbell is on the front of your body. And so when you're pressing into the floor, you're pressing more through the front half of your feet because the front half of your feet is what's directly underneath that barbell. And so the weight, whatever you are pressing against, in order to generate force. Whatever is in line with that force production dictates which muscle is going to be recruited. So again, when you're pressing more through the front half of your feet, the front half of your legs are going to be recruited to generate that force. And so quads are going to be more heavily targeted then, and that's exactly why glutes are a little bit more heavily targeted when it comes to back squats, because if you're driving through the back half of your feet in order to press that weight that's on the back half of your body, then you're going to target more of your glutes. But to go back to front squats, strengthens your core, strengthens your quads, and the third reason is kind of tied into the second one, is because the quads are really performance heavy. You rely on your quads and the strength of them when it comes to performance, from running, from jumping. And so you really want to ensure that you get those muscles strong if performance is somewhat in your goals. And then the other thing, the fourth and final part of it, is a front squat is kind of more of a functional movement than a back squat is. And when I say functional, I mean that it's something that you do more consistently on a regular basis. Oftentimes people will hold something in front of them while moving around throughout the day, and maybe while shifting levels and going up and down throughout the day, more so than just holding something on your back. Maybe you're holding a backpack on your back, but you're maybe not going quite up and down as much with a backpack on your back. But then again, that's why one of the reasons why you do back squats, to simulate the functionality of that movement. But core strength, quad strength, performance, and it's very functional movement having something like that in front of you going up and down. So that's one of the huge keys, or 4 reasons why doing front squats. And then when it comes to back squats, number 1, if you're wanting to improve or grow or strengthen your glutes, which are your butt cheeks, those muscles in your butt cheeks, then the back squat is going to be more targeting that muscle group rather than a front squat, because again, the force is being produced through the back half of your feet. The force is being produced through the back half of your feet, and the back half of your legs are going to be what is largely recruited to create that force. Second one is because the weight is on your back and you're not challenging your abs as much, you're able to go heavier on back squats. And the reason why it's important to go heavier is because your muscles can grow even bigger when you're lifting something heavier, or can grow denser and stronger when you're lifting something heavier. And so not only are you getting stronger, but if your muscles grow, then you're going to be having a higher metabolic rate. And so if you're looking to overall lose weight or just sustain your weight, then having a high metabolic rate is really important. So back squats will help with that as well. And then back squats also have a performance aspect to them as well. I talked about the importance of improving performance when it comes to front squats, but back squats has a huge performance component as well. That's why you see so many different athletes, especially football players and sometimes basketball players, I'll talk more about that in just a second, do things like squats. And the reason why I just said I'll talk about basketball players in just a second is basketball players might not always have to go in full depth when it comes to squats, because that doesn't simulate as much of what they're actually doing in their sport. When it comes to jumping, think about jumping. When you go to jump, you don't take a full squat and then jump up to the air. You take maybe a quarter squat and then jump up in the air to see how high you can get. And so when it comes to basketball players and trying to improve your jumping and the strength of the front half of your legs, you don't even have to do a full range of motion squat to help improve your performance on the basketball court. So that was kind of a little bit of a tangent, but I think it was worth saying and worth identifying and realizing for yourself. The last thing I want to say when it comes to front squats and back squats is I always prioritize depth first and then weight. When it comes to depth of your back squat or front squat, there's 3 things that are really key: ankle mobility, hip mobility, and core strength. Oftentimes, ankle mobility is one of the most limiting factors for a lot of people when it comes to the depth of their back squat and therefore the overall weight of their back squat. If your ankles are not very mobile, when you start to squat down, then your hips are going to go back and your upper body is going to collapse. So if you ever feel like your lower back hurts too much on back squats, it might be actually because your ankles are not mobile enough and your upper body is falling down too much to the floor. So you want to make sure that you include both front squats and back squats into your workout regimen. and that you ensure that your ankles are mobile, your hips are mobile, and your core is strong to maximize the benefits that you're actually getting from those back squats and those front squats. So for those of you guys who do the 10-week transformation, that probably makes a whole lot of sense as to why we do a lot of the things that we do, why we do things like tibialis raises, why we do things like knees over toes lunges to improve our ankle mobility so that we improve our ability to maximize our depth with our squats. And if we maximize the depth with our squats, both front and back, we're going to maximize the muscle fiber recruitment, and therefore we're going to overall, over time, maximize the improvement of our strength and our performance. I hope you guys got something today. More than anything, I hope you realize the why behind what we do if you do the 10-week transformation. And if you don't do the 10-week transformation, I hope you realize that you should be adding front squats into your workout regimen. You should be adding back squats into your workout regimen if you're not doing either. And I would always say, do a mix of both. 1 week do back squats, 1 week do front squats. Or if you want to go 5 weeks of back squats and then 5 weeks of front squats, go for it. But they complement each other very well. It's not like if you just work on front squats, your back squat's not going to get better. Or if you just work on back squats, your front squat's not going to get better. They complement each other very well. So if you want me to help bring you through training with front squats, training with back squats, training with some of these improved mobility metrics that I talked about, then you got to join the 10-week transformation. If you're in Nashville, I would love to coach you in person. If you're anywhere else, I would love to deliver the amazing virtual version of the product, and you can get started today. Just go to nickcarrier.com/10WT. Again, nickcarrier.com/10WT. If you want to start really training specifically with front squats and back squats so that you can improve your core strength, so that you can improve the strength of your quads, the strength of your glutes, and you can improve your overall performance, then make sure you get signed up today with the 10-week transformation. Again, nickcarrier.com/10WT. But I hope what you learned today was helpful. Make sure you share it with a friend or family member. Make sure you share it with your accountability buddy. Those of you in the 10-week transformation, share it with somebody who is your workout partner to be, hey man, we need to be doing these front squats, or hey, we need to start doing back squats. This is really important for our performance. This is really important for our overall metabolic rate. If we're looking to lose weight, we need to be doing squats. Okay, that's enough on convincing you on squats, but share it with a friend or family member as well. I appreciate you guys. I hope the value and the education that you got today is something that will help you get closer to your health and fitness goals, and ultimately it will help you get closer and closer to your best you.